Today we'll see what happens in GTA 5 if our main dude Michael dies during the mission Did Somebody Say Yoga. So this would happen right after Jimmy throws him out of the car just high as a kite, and in this reality Michael would first get mugged and then left dead out in some alleyway. Let's say he gets shot, doesn't really matter. And when the news makes it to Michael's family who had just left him, it would definitely hit Jimmy the hardest because he knows that it's him who caused Michael's death indirectly. And considering that he lied to Amanda about what happened back there, he'll just have to, kind of shut up and live the rest of his life knowing that he is partially to blame for the death of his dad. As for Michael's family in general, I imagine they'd sell the house and just move somewhere else, just completely different, somewhere quiet where they can get a fresh start considering the circumstances. And they'd also be pretty broke. Even though they did take some of Michael's money, they'd still be pretty broke because none of them is working and whatnot. So yeah, I think they would also have to change their lifestyle a little bit, if I do say so myself. Now, what about Franklin and Trevor? Well, at this point, let's say the Hood Safari mission already happened and they already kind of know each other. Now, Franklin would do the assassination missions for Lester first. However, he would still need money and he'd ask Lester whether he has some sort of heist lined up, and Lester would get Franklin and Trevor together along with a handful of other random crew members for the Polito score. That's right, skip the shit show with Martin Madrazo. That never happens. Skip everything with Devin Weston and Solomon Richards. Hell, even skip Blitz Play. They'd just kind of lose contact with the feds, if I'm honest. There really wouldn't be any use that the feds would have for them because, let's be honest, their main puppet was Michael. Michael's dead. They wouldn't really have much to do with the other two if Michael's not around. Now, after the Polito score, Lester, Franklin, and Trevor would go on a months-long robbing spree all across the West Coast. And that would pretty much be what they're doing because there's not much else to do. Like I said, they just kind of lose their contact with the feds and whatnot. So yeah, they just keep robbing, keep stacking up money and whatnot. That would pretty much be it for them, at least for now. However, I gotta say that this would happen simply because a lot of these plot points, such as the FIB raid, the wrap-up, Blitz Play even, things like that, all of these are heavily revolved around Michael. It's mainly his story, and this really goes to show that Michael is the main character of this game, because how many plot points just would not happen if he died this early on? You would never see Solomon Richards. Hell, you wouldn't even meet Devin Weston. So yeah, the main plot line as we know it, the main story of the game, would just completely fall apart with Michael dying. It would be just a completely different thing. One thing that wouldn't really change is that Trevor and Franklin would still have to save Lamar from Stretch. I do imagine that they'd have a few million saved up by then, so it's not like they'd be at rock bottom by any means, and they wouldn't really be as rich as they were after the big one in the original, which of course wouldn't happen in this reality either, because Michael would never pitch it to Trevor, because by that point when Derailed happens, Michael's long dead. Speaking of dead, Trevor would never find out about Brad. That conversation would never happen. The final mission would at its core still kind of revolve around the remainder of the crew helping each other take out their enemies, but in the sense that Trevor would take out Stretch, which is what Michael did in the original, who is a threat to Franklin and Lamar still, that hasn't changed. Wei Cheng will be taken care of by Franklin, just like in the original, as a favor to Trevor. Devin Weston is absolutely unaffected by anything that happens in this reality, and Steve Haynes could still be an issue because he's alive, and that's enough for him to be an issue, let's be honest, because he also knows a lot about Trevor and Franklin, but I don't think that they'd go after him. Neither do I think that maybe he would decide to go after him. I just don't see that happening in this reality. What I do see happening as sort of a preventative measure in terms of Steve Haynes, because all of them have stacked up so much money by this point, they're rich, like I said, not as rich as the big one, but they're still pretty rich, and they would all just kind of maybe do one last robbery, not a big one by any means, but after that, I do think that Lester, Trevor, and Franklin would just kind of go their separate ways after this and leave Los Santos for good, because Steve Haynes is still around there, so it's better to be out of there before he tries some shit, which maybe he wouldn't, but you never know with that guy, so I don't think that they'd take any risks. They'd all just kind of split off, go somewhere else. Trevor maybe goes back to Sandy Shores, or maybe somewhere even farther away, who knows. With that said, I want to thank you for watching this What If. The story completely kind of falls apart with Michael dying this early on when you think about it. I mean, like I said, you have so many plot points that just don't happen, such as the big one, the wrap up, all the stuff with the feds. It's just not a thing. Neither is the stuff with Devin Weston or Solomon Richards, but that's pretty much it. Until next video stream, leave your thoughts and opinions of this What If in the comments down below. Leave your What If suggestions, and if they're good enough, I might do them in a future video, and bye bye.